Hope you all are doing well. Finally, the wait is over. I'm back with another questionnaire video. In my last videos, we had completed ICA Study Mat questionnaire of two chapters, that is Supply under GST and Charge of GST. In this video, I've come up with ICA Study Mat questions of chapter 6, that is Time of Supply. This video will be very beneficial for you all, so do watch it till the end. So before moving ahead, make sure that you have studied this chapter at least once, and you have studied before but not revised in last couple of days, then you don't need to worry at all, because first we'll do a quick revision of this chapter and then we'll move ahead with the questions. Okay. And yeah, I've attached two PDF link of this chapters in description box. In first link you will get the summary of this chapter, and in the second one you will get the question answers of this chapter, in which I have deleted all the provisions part. So you can check that PDF if needed. So let's start the revision. First we'll revise time of supply of goods, section 12. So this is section 12. In this, first we'll study about time of supply of goods under forward charge, then reverse charge, then in case of vouchers, then we'll study about residual case, then addition in value. Okay. So time of supply of goods under forward charges will take date of issue or due date of issue of tax invoice under section 31. So section 31, as you all know, that in case in section 31 what is stated, a registered person has to issue the invoice before or at the time of two cases are there. If the supply involves movement of goods, then the registered person is required to issue invoice before or at the time of removal of goods, and in other cases a registered person is required to issue invoice before or at the time of delivery of goods. So in this case, either you have to take date of issue of invoice. If invoice is issued before this due date, like before removal of goods, if that is the case, and in other case if the invoice is issued before delivery of goods, then you have to take date of issue of invoice. And if suppose if invoice is issued after due date of issue, means after due date as mentioned in section 31, then you have to take the due date. So either of the two dates you have to take. Now second option is date of recording the payment in the books of accounts of the supplier. Means when the supplier records the payment in his books. Third one is date on which payment is credited in the bank account of supplier. Okay, whichever is earlier, we have to take the earlier of the three dates. So by this we'll get the time of supply and a forward charge. Now what is stated here, it's given here no GST on advances received for supply of goods. GST to be paid on date of issue or due date of issue of tax invoice under section 31. As per the amendment, we all know that in case of goods, there is no GST on advances received. In that case, GST is paid only on the date of invoice. This is only in case of goods, not in case of services. Now time of supply of goods under reverse charge. In this case, we have to take the earlier of four dates. First one is date of receipt of goods. Second one is date of recording the payment in the books of accounts of the recipient of goods. In this case, we'll think from the point of view of the recipient. Okay, when the recipient records the payment in his books, when the recipient means when in the bank account of recipient, when the payment is debited, we'll take that date. And fourth one is we'll take the 31st day from the supplier's invoice. In forward charge, we was thinking from the supplier point of view, when supplier records in the book, when supplier's bank account is debited. Okay, so in case of reverse charge, we'll take this four dates: date of receipt of goods, date when the recipient records in his book, date on which the bank account of recipient is debited, and 31st day from the supplier's invoice, whichever is earlier. Under forward charge, 3 dates were there. Under reverse charge, 4 dates are there. Now time of supply of voucher exchangeable for goods. In this case, if the supply is identifiable at that point, then we'll take the date of issue of voucher. Suppose it's mentioned in the voucher coupon that against this voucher coupon you can purchase food items. Now in this case, specific item in supply is not identifiable in this case. It's given here food items. So specific food item is not mentioned. So in that case, we'll take date of issue of voucher. And if suppose it's given there, against this voucher coupon you can purchase pizza, or suppose any specific food item is mentioned, that burger or this one. So in that case, supply is identifiable at that point. No, sorry, I told reverse. Sorry, I was mistaken. If the supply is identifiable at that point, suppose it's given against this voucher or coupon, you can purchase specific food item like pizza or burger or anything else, then in that case you will take date of issue of voucher. And in other cases, suppose it's given only you can purchase food items, means any food items, in that case supply is not identifiable, then in that case we'll take date of redemption of voucher. Now we'll apply the residual case. When we'll apply the residual case, if all the above do not work for a situation, then we'll apply the residual case. In that case, we'll take the date of due date of return. When the periodical return is to be filed, then in that case we'll take the due date of such return. In other cases, we'll take the date on which tax is paid. Now addition in value. Now, if there is any addition in value by way of interest, late fee, penalty for delayed payment of consideration of goods, then in that case, time of supply will be date on which supplier receives such addition in value. Okay. So, this completes our time of supply in case of goods, section 12. Now, we'll move ahead with time of supply of services, section 13. So, in this case, as we all know that in case of services, invoice is required to be issued within 30 days. Now forward charge, now see this one, first one. Time of supply of services under forward charge when the invoice is issued within the time specified under section 31. Now in this case, forward charge is segregated in two charts. So first one is if the invoice is issued timely, and second one is if the invoice is not issued timely. So if the invoice is issued timely, then we'll take earlier of 3 dates. First one is date of issue of tax invoice, then date of recording the payment in the books of account of supplier, then date on which payment is credited in the bank account of supplier. Okay, whichever is earlier. Now when the invoice is not issued within the time limit, then we'll take earlier of 3 days, but those 3 days are different obviously. Then instead of taking the date of tax invoice, we'll take the date of provision of service. The next one is date of recording the payment in the books of accounts of supplier. This one is same. Date on which payment is credited in the bank account of supplier. This one is also same. Okay, whichever is earlier, we'll take the earlier of the 3 dates. Now in this case, in case of services, under reverse charge, what are the dates? We'll take date of recording the payment in the books of account of recipient of services, when the recipient records in his book, when the recipient's bank account is debited, date on which payment is debited from bank account of the recipient of services, and third one is 61st day from supplier's invoice. Under this one, under reverse charge in case of goods, there was given 31st day from supplier's invoice. In this case, it's 61st day from supplier's invoice. So remember this, okay? Whichever is earlier of this 3 dates. In this case also 3 dates. We have to take the earlier of 3 dates. In goods, see this, wait, over here we have to take we were supposed to take earlier of 3 dates, then here 4 dates are there, so it's just a small way to remember. Now in case of voucher, it's same. If the supply is identifiable at that point in date of issue of voucher, otherwise in date of redemption, it's same as in case of goods. Now what is given here, I guess I skipped one thing. Yeah, in this case I skipped this thing. In case of reverse charge, if this is not identifiable, if this is not ascertainable, this 4 days are not ascertainable, then what will take? Will take time of supply as the date of entry of goods in the books of account of recipient of goods. When the recipient makes the entry of goods in his books, we are not talking about payment entry, we are talking about goods entry. Okay, then we'll take that date as the time of supply. Now in this case, now over here in case of services, if this forward charge, they have given the common arrow over here. In forward charge, they have said that if the above events are unascertainable, then time of supply will be date of receipt of services in the books of account of recipient of supply. Means when the recipient of supply enters date of entry of services, means when the recipient receives the services, the date on which he enters in his books of account, service entry, not payment entry. It's not this date on which recipient means date on which payment is recorded in the books of account, not payment entry. We are talking about service entry, receipt of services entry. Now under forward charge, they have said that if same case as in case of goods above events are unascertainable, then time of supply will be date of entry of services in the books of account of recipient of supply. Service entry, okay. In goods case, there was given goods entry, so same thing. So again, this one is same. Residual case, where periodical return is to be filed, then we'll take due date of return, and in other cases we'll take date on which tax is paid. Now addition in value by way of interest, late fee, penalty for delayed payment for consideration, delayed payment of consideration for services. In that case, time of supply will be date on which supplier receives such addition in value. So this completes our section 12 and 13, time of supply in case of goods and services. Now next important provision is change in rate of tax, section 14. Now in this case, what they have said that there are three events basically: issue of invoice, supply of goods or services, and receipt of payment. So they have said that if out of these three events, if any two events takes place before change in rate of tax, then we'll take the old rate, and if out of the three events any two events takes place after change in rate of tax, then we'll take the new rate. So this diagram is basically to decide when we have to take old rate and when we are supposed to take the new rate. Now we'll study about time of supply in this case, in case of change in rate of tax. So see this one. Now if supply takes place before change in rate of tax, invoice is issued before change in rate of tax, and receipt is after change in rate of tax. So it is but obvious that two events are taking place before change in rate of tax, so we'll take the old rate. Now what will be the time of supply? Time of supply in this case will be date of issue of invoice. Okay. Now second one is if supply takes place before, invoice is issued after, payment received before. So we'll take the old rate because two events are taking place before change in rate of tax, and in this case time of supply will be receipt of payment. Third case, two events are taking place after change in rate of tax, invoice and payment. So obviously we'll take the new rate, and in this case time of supply will be invoice or payment, whichever is earlier. Next case is two events are taking place after, like supply and invoice is issued after change in rate of tax, so new rate and time of supply will be date of issue of invoice. Next cases, two events are taking place after, so new rate and time of supply will be date of receipt of payment. Now two events are taking place before change in rate of tax, that is invoice and payment. So when invoice and payment are together, we'll take the earlier of these two dates. Okay, so this completes our section 14. Now one small provision. Now suppose if payment is entered in the books of accounts of the supplier, okay, payment entry is made in the books of account of supplier, and after that there is change in rate of tax, and because of which if the payment is credited in the bank account of the supplier after 4 working days of change in rate of tax, then in that case there will be little bit change in the provision, means from the earlier provision what we studied. If the payment, listen properly, if the payment is credited in the bank account of the supplier after 4 working days of the change in rate of tax, then date of receipt of payment will be date of crediting of payment in the bank account. In that case we'll not take the date of receipt of payment as the earlier of the two dates, like date of entry in the books and date on which it is credited in the bank account. Will not take the earlier of that two dates. Directly we'll take date of receipt of payment will be, in that case will be date of credit in the bank account of the supplier if it is credited after 4 working days. If it is not credited after 4 working days but within 4 working days, then we'll take as per the earlier provision what we have studied, means earlier of those two dates, credit in bank account and as recorded in the books. So this completes our revision of this chapter. Now we'll move ahead with the questionnaire. Okay. Hope that summary was beneficial for you all. Now let's start with the illustration. See, in this PDF from which we'll discuss now, in this I have not deleted the provisions part, but in the description box, the PDF link which you will get, in that I've deleted all the provisions part. Okay, so let's start the questions. Illustration 1. A machine has to be supplied at site. It is done by sourcing various components from vendors and assembling the machine at site. The details of the various events are, so first one is 17th September, it's given purchase order with advance of 50,000 is received for machine worth 12 lakh and entry duly made in seller's books of account. On 20th October, the machine is assembled, tested at site and accepted by the buyer. On 23rd October, invoice raised. 4th November, balance payment of 11,50,000 received. Now, so in this question, this is a case of supply of goods. So in case of goods, we have studied before. In summary portion also we have done that. In case of advances, if advance is received in case of supply of goods, then in that case time of supply will be date of issue of invoice and not the date of receipt of payment. So the 50,000 advance which is received on 17th September, obviously time of supply will not be 17th September, that will be date of issue of invoice. Okay, and machine was of 12 lakhs, 50,000 advance was received on 17th September, so balance 11 lakh 50,000 was received on 4th November. Now there is one trick in this question, observe carefully. There is use of section 31. In section 31, what was the due date? Due date of invoice was before or at the time of movement of goods. Okay, removal of goods, when the supply involves movement of goods, so invoice was supposed to be issued before or at the time of removal of goods. So goods was removed, we can say, or and in other cases it was given before or at the time of delivery of goods. So in 20th October, what is given? The machine is assembled, tested at site and accepted by the buyer. So we can see that in this case delivery was made on 20th October, so that was the due date for issue of invoice. Okay, so in this case invoice was supposed to be issued till 20th October, but it was issued after that, after due date 23rd October. So we'll take date of invoice as 20th October and entire value means entire 12 lakhs, time of supply of entire 12 lakhs will be 20th October, because of 50,000 it will obviously be date of invoice, means for 50,000 TOS will be 20th October, and for balance 11 lakh 50,000 will take the earlier of invoice or payment. So invoice is 20th October, payment is 4th November, so obviously the earlier one is 20th October. Okay, so now let's read the answer. As per notification, a registered person excluding composition supplier has to pay GST on the outward supply of goods at the time of supply as specified in section 12 subsection 2 clause A, that is date of issue of invoice or the last date on which invoice ought to have been issued in terms of section 31. Therefore the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax for the entire amount of 12 lakhs rupees 12 lakhs is 20th October, which is the date on which goods were made available to the recipient as per section 31 subsection 1 clause B, and the invoice should have been issued on this date, section 12 subsection 2 clause A. Okay, hope this question is clear. Now illustration number 2. So let's read the question. Gas is supplied by a pipeline. Monthly payments are made by the recipient as per the contract. Every quarter, a statement of goods dispatched and payments made is issued, and recipient has to pay the differential amount if any. Okay. The details of the various events are August 5, September 5, October 6. In these 3 days, payment of 2 lakhs made in each month for the quarter July to September. Then on October 3, statement of accounts for quarter July to September issued by the supplier showing amount of 2,56,000 as unpaid. On October 17, balance payment of 56,000 received by supplier for the quarter July to September. Why they are saying balance 56,000? We'll discuss. Let's complete the question. Determine the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax. See the question properly. So this is a case of continuous supply of goods. So in case of continuous supply of goods, we have read before that invoice is issued before or at the time each statement is issued, or as the case may be, each payment is received. So in this case, see, payment of 2 lakhs, it's a July to September quarter. Okay, so we'll not now we are not taking the October 6th payment, we are taking about August 5th and September 5th. So payment was received on August 5th 2 lakhs, and on September 5th also 2 lakhs. So invoice was supposed to be issued on or before August 5th and September 5th. Okay, and in the provision it is also given at before or at the time each statement is involved, means each statement is issued. So in on October 3rd statement was issued. See, statement of accounts for quarter July to September was issued. So for 2,56,000, this invoice should be issued on or before October 3rd for 2,56,000. They are showing amount of 2,56,000 as unpaid, and actual only 56,000 is unpaid, but 2 lakh payment that is received on October 6th, that will not be considered in the statement of accounts of July to September. Now that's why they have given 2,56,000 as unpaid, but in reality only 56,000 that was unpaid, which was received on October 17. So let's read the answer. As per notification number, a registered person excluding composition supplier has to pay GST on the outward supply of goods at the time of supply as specified in section 12 subsection 2 clause A, that is date of issue of invoice or the last date on which invoice ought to have been issued in terms of section 31. As per section 31 subsection 4, in case of continuous supply of goods where successive statement of accounts or successive payments are involved, the invoice is issued before or at the time of each such statement is issued, or as the case may be, each such payment is received. Therefore, invoices should be issued for 2 lakhs each on or before August 5 and September 5, when monthly payments of 2 lakhs are received. Further, invoice should also be issued for differential payment of 2,56,000 on or before October 3 when statement of account is issued. Thus, assuming that the invoice is issued on August 5th and September 5th, the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax will be August 5th and September 5th respectively for goods valued at rupees 2 lakhs each. For goods valued at 2,56,000, the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax will be October 3rd, that is date of issue of statement. Okay, hope it's clear. Now this is the provision they have discussed. This I have not deleted. So let's move on to illustration 3. So it's given here, determine the time of supply from the given information. May 4, supplier invoices goods taxable on reverse charge basis to Bridge & Company. 30 days from the date of issue of invoice elapses on June 3. May 12, Bridge & Company receives the goods. May 30, Bridge & Company makes the payment. Now recall the provision of time of supply of goods in case of reverse charge. In that case, 4 dates were there: date of receipt of goods, date of recording the payment in the books of accounts of the recipient of goods, date on which payment is debited from the bank account of the recipient of goods, 31st day from supplier's invoice. They have given the bracket 30 days from date of issue of invoice elapses on June 3. So actually they have helped you in recalling the provision. So in this case, date of receipt of goods is May 12. Now they have directly given us date of payment. We don't need to find the earlier of recording and debiting. So date of receipt of goods is May 12, date of payment is May 30, and 31st day from invoice is June 4. So earlier one is May 12, of course. So let's read the answer. Here May 12 will be the time of supply, being the earliest of three stipulated dates, namely receipt of goods, date of payment, and date immediately following 30 days of invoice, issuance of invoice. Section 12, subsection 3. Here date of invoice is relevant only for calculating 30 days from that date. Okay. This was very simple. Question number 4. Hence illustration 4. Determine the time of supply from the given information. May 4, supplier invoices goods taxable on reverse charge basis to Pillar and Company. 30 days from the date of issuance of invoice elapsed on June 3. This looks alike. June 12, Pillar and Company receives the goods which were held up in transit. July 3 is payment made for goods. So this is the case of, again same case, supply of goods reverse charge. 3 dates will take earlier of 3 dates. Date of receipt of goods is June 12, date of payment is July 3, and 31st day from supplier's invoice is June 4. So earlier one is June 4. Here June 4, 31st day from date of supplier's invoice will be the time of supply, being the earliest of the three stipulated dates, namely receipt of goods, date of payment, and date immediately following 30 days of issuance of invoice. Okay. Now this is provision part. Oh, skip this one. Now straight away come to illustration 5. Determine the time of supply from the following particulars. 6th May, booking of convention hall, sum agreed rupees 15,000, advance of 3,000 received. 15th September, function held in the convention hall. 27th October, invoice issued for rupees 15,000, indicating balance of rupees 12,000 payable. 3rd November, balance payment of rupees 12,000 received. So this is the case of supply of services, forward charge. So recall the provision. In case of supply of services, there is no restriction, means there was no amendment as in the case of supply of goods. In this case, time of supply in case of advances is the date of payment. So 3,000, advance of 3,000 which is received on 6th May. In that case, TOS for this advance payment will be 6th May, but not take the date of invoice. And for the balance 12,000, what we need to check first? First we need to check that the invoice is issued within 30 days from date of provision of service or not. So 15th September was the date of provision of service and invoice was issued on 27th October. Obviously it is issued after 30 days. So as per the provision, we'll take the earlier of date of provision of service or date of payment. So from 15th September, 3rd November, which one is the earlier one? 15th September. So for the balance payment of 12,000, TOS will be 15th September. Clear? Let's read the answer. As per section 31 subsection 2, read with rule 47 of CGST rules, the tax invoice is to be issued within 30 days of supply of service. In the given case, the invoice is not issued within the prescribed time limit. As per section 13 subsection 2 clause B, in a case where the invoice is not issued within the prescribed time, the time of supply of service is the date of provision of service or receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Therefore, the time of supply of service to the extent of rupees 3,000 is 6th May, as the date of payment of 3,000 is earlier than the date of provision of service. The time of supply of service to the extent of balance 12,000 is 15th September, which is the date of provision of service. Clear? Now come to question number illustration 6. Investigation shows that ABC and Company carried out service of cleaning and repairs of tanks in an apartment complex, okay, for which the Apartment Owners Association showed a payment in cash on 4th April to them against work of this description. The dates of the work are not clear from the records of ABC and Company. ABC and Company have not issued invoice or entered the payment in their books of account. Okay. Now, as stated in the question, ABC and Company is supplying the service, this cleaning and repairing services. Now, what is the problem over here is ABC and Company have not issued any invoice and they have not also entered this payment in their books. So we don't know the date of issue of invoice, we don't know date of payment, because they are not clear records of ABC and Company. Not clear records what? There are no records of ABC and Company. So let's read the answer. The time of supply cannot be determined by the provisions of clause A and B of section 13 subsection 2, as neither the invoice has been issued nor the date of provision of service is available, as also the date of receipt of payment in the books of supplier is also not available. Okay. Therefore, the time of supply will be determined by clause C of section 13 subsection 2, that is the date on which the recipient of service shows receipt of service in his books of account. Read this line again. Therefore, the time of supply will be determined by clause C of section 13 subsection 2, that is, in this case, when there are no records of ABC and Company, means of supplier, when the records are missing, the supply records are missing, in that case TOS will be date on which the recipient of service shows receipt of service in his books of account. Remember that chart which we discussed? In that case it was given, if the above events are not ascertainable, then we'll take this entry, date on which recipient of service shows receipt of service in his books of account. So in this case TOS will be 4th April, the date on which the Apartment Owners Association records the receipt of services in its books of account. Clear? So skip this provision part. Illustration 6 is done. Now illustration 7. Determine the time of supply from the given information. Assume that service being supplied is taxable under reverse charge. Okay. May 4 they have given supplier of service issues invoice for service provided. There is a dispute about amount payable and payment is delayed. August 21 they have given payment made to the supplier of service. So May 4 is the date of issue of invoice and August 21 is date of payment. Now this is supply of service under reverse charge. So recall the provision. Remember 61st day was there. What were the events in that case? Recall once. In that case it was given date of recording the payment in the books of account of the recipient, date on which payment is debited from the bank account of recipient, and 61st day from supplier's invoice. So in this case straight away we have we don't need to take out the earlier of those dates to find out the payment date. They have directly given us the payment date August 21. So we'll take earlier of August 21 and 61st day from supplier's invoice. 61st day from May 4 is, so in this case 61st day from May 4 is 4th July. Okay. So earlier of 4th July, August 21, which one is the earlier one? Obviously 4th July, so that will be TOS. See, here July 4 will be the time of supply, being the earliest of the two stipulated dates, namely date of payment and date immediately following 60 days since the issue of invoice. Okay. Illustration 8. Determine the time of supply from the given information. May 4, a German company issues email informing its associated company ABC Limited of the cost of technical services provided to it. July 2, ABC Limited transfers the amount to the account of German company. Now remember that provision that in the chart which we discussed in that summary portion, it was given if above events are not ascertainable, then we'll take the date of receipt of services in the books of account of recipient of supply, but there is no such date. So, and also there is no clear dates, like none of the events as mentioned in the summary part that is given over here. So as there is, read the answer, as there is no prior entry of the amount in the books of account of ABC Limited, the date which we require, that date of entry of services, that is missing over here. So what we'll do, we'll take July 2 will be the DOS, being the date of payment in the terms of second proviso to section 13 subsection 3. Okay, July 2 will be the DOS. So this completes our illustration 8. Then this provision part. So illustrations are over. Now we'll do test your knowledge. Now first question is, determine the time of supply in the following cases, assuming that GST is payable under reverse charge. Okay. Now first case, see, this is reverse charge, time of supply of goods and reverse charge. Remember, 31st day, not 61st, 31st day. And total how many events are there? Total 4 events in case of goods, and in case of services 3 events. So what is given here? Date of receipts July 1, date of payment August 10, and date of issue of invoices June 29. So we have to take earlier of receipt of goods payment August 10, and 31st day from invoice we have to take. We don't have to take date of issue of invoice. So 31st day from June 29, calculate it. So in this case, 31st day from suppliers invoice is June 30th. So we'll take earlier of July, 1st July, 10th August and 30th June. Earlier one is of course 30th June. Let's see the answer. Sorry, I said June, it's 30th July. So we'll take earlier of 1st July, 29th June and 30th July. Earlier one is July 1. Date of receipt of goods is 1st July, date of issue of invoice is June 29th, and 31st day is July 21. So and payment is 10th August. Ignore June 29. We have to take earlier of 1st July, 10th August and July 30, that is 1st July. Second one we'll do from here only. No need to rush to the question again and again, because the columns which we require is already given in the answer part. So again, date of receipt of goods is July 1, date of payment is June 25, 30 means date of invoice is June 29. So 31st day from invoice is same, July 30 as in one. So earlier one is June 25th. Next one, July 1. Now in case of payment, they have given part payment is made on June 30th and balance amount paid on July 20th. Date of invoice is June 29th. So 31st day is July 30. So in this case there will be 2 TOS. For part payment, what will say? July, 1st July, June 30th and July 30th. So out of the 3, earlier one is 30th June. So for part payment 30th June, and for balance payment we'll compare July 1, July 20 and July 30. So earlier one is 1st July. So see the answer, July 30 for part payment made and July 1 for balance amount. Fourth one, July 5th, payment is entered in the books of account on June 20th and debited in the recipient's bank account on June 30th. Issue of invoice is June 1, so 31st day from issue of invoice is July 2. Now in this case, they have not directly given us the payment date. We have to take the earlier one, like payment is entered in the books, they have given 28th June, and when it is debited on 30th June. So we'll take the earlier one, that is 28th June will be the date of payment. So we'll take earlier of 28th June, 5th July and 2nd July. So earlier one is 20th June. So answer is June 20th, that is when payment is entered in the books of account of the recipient. Fifth one, the date of receipt of goods is July 1. Now in case of payment, they have given payment is entered in the books of account on June 30 and debited in recipient's bank account on June 26. Again we have to take the earlier one as payment date, means June 26. Now date of invoice they have given June 29, so 31st day from date of invoice is July 30. Now for TOS we'll take the earlier of July 1, June 26 and July 30. So earlier one is June 26, that is when payment is debited in the recipient's bank account. Sixth one, Roman 6, August 1 is date of receipt of goods, August 10 is date of payment, date of invoice is June 29, so 31st day from date of invoice is July 30. So we have to take earlier of August 1, August 10 and July 30. Earliest is July 30. So July 30, that is 31st day from issuance of invoice. Now see question number 2 of test your knowledge. Determine the time of supply in the following cases, assuming that GST is payable under reverse charge. So supply of services, reverse charge, 61st day, 3 events. Okay. Now they have given date of payment by recipient for supply of services. They have given us the date of payment and they have given us the date of invoice. Let's see the answer, how they have presented. Is it possible to move ahead with the answer? I guess no. We'll do one by one. Okay. Date of service is August 10, date of invoice is June 29. So out of 4 events, 2 events are clubbed as they have given the date of payment directly. We don't have to take the earlier one. Clear? Out of 3 events, 2 events are clubbed, I mean. So we'll take date of event and 61st day from supplier's invoice. Now invoice is June 29. 61st day is, calculate 61st day. See the answer. Date of payment August 10, date of invoice is June 29 and 61st day is August 29. Okay. Now TOS will be earlier of date of payment and 61st day, means August 10 and August 29. We have to take earliest of August 10 and August 29. Earliest is August 10. Next is date of payment is August 10, date of invoice is June 1. We have to take 61st day. 61st day from June 1 is August 1. So earlier of August 10 and August 1 is August 1. Let's see the question once. I guess everything they have mentioned here. Wait a minute. Third one, it's given here part payment made on June 30 and balance amount paid on September 1. And date of invoice they have given us June 29. See the answer. We'll do from here only. It's very difficult to. So part payment is made on June 30 and balance payment is made on September 1. And this date of issue of invoice is June 29. So 61st day is August 29. So here there will be 2 TOS. For part payment we'll compare June 30 and August 29. So earlier one is June 30 and for balance payment we'll compare September 1 and August 29. So TOS will be August 29. See the answer, June 30 for part payment and August 29 for balance payment. Next one, payment is entered in the books of account on June 30 and debited in the recipient's bank account on June 30. So we'll take the earlier one as the payment date. Earlier date is June 20th, that will be the date of payment. Now date of invoice is June 1. and 61st day from date of invoice is August 1. So we have to take earlier of June 28 and August 1, that is June 28. That is when payment is entered in the books of accounts of the recipient. Roman 5. Payment is entered in the books of account on June 30 and debited in recipient's bank account on June 26. So earlier one is June 26, that will be the date of payment. Date of invoice is June 29 and 61st day from date of invoice is August 29. So we'll take the earlier of June 26 and August 29, that is June 26. June 26, see the answer, that is when payment is debited in the recipient's bank account. I guess it's clear now. If you remember the chart properly, you don't need to worry at all. You'll just solve the sum in seconds and with full accuracy. Now see the third question. Determine the time of supply in the following cases, assuming that rate of GST changes from 18 to 20% with effect from June 1. This is change of rate, section 14. Now with effect from June 1, rate is changing from 18 to 20%. Now in 1, 2 and 3, these three cases, they have given the common date, supply of service date is May 28. Now invoice and recipient date they have given individually. So let's move on to the solution, see if it's possible to do from the solution. Date of invoice or payment. Yeah, let's do from the question only, solution only. Just remember that date, June 1. Now see, Roman 1. Date of supply of service is 20th May. Date of invoice is 9th June. Date of payment is 25th July. And remember, date of change in rate of tax was 1st June. So which are the two events which are taking place? Means two events, they are taking place before or after change in rate of tax. So 1st June. So May 28th, the supply of service is taking place before change in rate of tax, and invoice, date of invoice is after change in rate of tax, and payment is also after change in rate of tax. So two events are taking place after change in rate of tax. So obviously we'll take the new rate and we'll take invoice or payment whichever is earlier. So TOS will be June 9 and applicable rate will be 20%. So Roman 2, May 28, July 25. So May 28 means supply of service and invoice. These two dates are taking place. These two events are taking place before change in rate of tax. So TOS will be date of invoice May 28 and will take the old rate. Roman 3. Supply of service is taking place before. This invoice is taking place after. Receipt of payment is taking place before change in rate of tax. So two events are before change in rate of tax. So we'll take the old rate and we'll take payment date as the TOS. Fourth case, June 10 is the date of service, May 28 and June 25. So in this case, two events are taking place after change in rate of tax, that is supply of service and date of payment, as you can clearly see. So we'll take the new rate and TOS will be date of payment, that is June 25. Now fifth one, June 10, May 28, May 16. So two events are taking place before change in rate of tax. So we'll take old rate and we'll take earlier of invoice of payment, that is May 16. Now Roman 6. In this case, June 10, June 9, May 28. So two events are taking place after change in rate of tax, that is date of service and date of invoice. Okay, we'll take invoice date as TOS and new rate. Okay, now question number 4. Kabira Industries Limited engaged the services of a transporter for road transport of a consignment on 17th June Okay. Kabira Industries engaged the services of a transporter for road transport of a consignment on 17th June and made advance payment for the transport on the same date, that is 17th June. However, the consignment could not be sent immediately on account of a strike in the factory and instead was sent on 20th July. Invoice was received from the transporter on 22nd July. What is the time of supply of the transporter service? Note, transporter service is taxed on reverse charge basis. Remember GTA service? So obviously we'll apply that provision. What is the time of supply in case of supply of services under reverse charge? That is date of payment or 61st day from invoice. Let's see the answer now. Time of supply of service taxable under reverse charge is the earlier of the following two dates in terms of section 13 subsection 3. Date of payment 61st day from date of issue of invoice. In this case, date of payment precedes 61st day from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. Hence, the date of payment, that is 17th June, will be treated as the time of supply of service, section 13 subsection 3 clause A. In this case, invoice was issued on 22nd July. See the question. Invoice was issued on 22nd July. So obviously 61st day from 20th July, when we'll take out that date, that will, in that case, obviously the earlier one will be 17th June. So no need to calculate 61st day from 22nd July. We'll straight away take 17th June as the TOS in this case. Okay. Fifth one. Raju Private Limited receives the order and advance payment on 5th January for carrying out an architectural design job. It delivers the design on 23rd April. By oversight, no invoice is issued at that time and it is issued much later after the expiry of the prescribed period for issue of invoice. When is the time of supply of service? In this case, invoice is not issued timely, means invoice is not issued within 30 days, they are saying. So obviously we'll take date of provision of service, earlier of date of provision of service, or date of payment. See the answer. Answer number 5. Since the invoice has not been issued within the prescribed time period, time of supply of service will be the earlier of the following two dates in terms of section 13 subsection 2 clause B. Date of provision of service or date of receipt of payment. Okay. The payment was received on 5th January and the service was provided on 23rd April. Therefore, the date of payment, that is 5th January, is the time of supply of service in this case. Clear? Now question number 6. Investigation shows that 150 cartons of ceramic capacitors were dispatched on 2nd August, but no invoice was raised and the transaction, dispatch of cartons, was not entered in the accounts. There was no evidence of receipt of payment. Means there is no rate of payment, nothing, means no transaction was entered in the accounts, means no invoice is there, no payment date is there. It's same as that question. Question number, means answer number 6. See, as per notification, a registered person excluding composition supplier has to pay GST on the outward supply of goods at the time of supply as specified in section 12 subsection 2 clause A, that is date of issue of invoice or the last date on which invoice ought to have been issued in terms of section 31. In this case, since the invoice has not been issued, the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax will be last date on which invoice is required to be issued. Since the invoice is not issued, so obviously the time of supply will be last date on which invoice is required to be issued. In this case, they have just given us one date, that is date of dispatch. So invoice is required to be issued on or before that date. See the answer. The invoice for supply of goods must be issued on or before the date of dispatch of goods, that is on 2nd August. Therefore, the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax for the goods will be 2nd August, the date when invoice should have been issued. This is the due date on which invoice is required to be issued. Okay. So, TOS for this purpose will be 2nd August. Now, question number 7. An order is placed on Raman Company on 18th August for supply of a consignment of customized shoes. Raman Company gets the consignment ready and informs the customer and issues the invoices on 2nd December. The customer collects the consignment from the premises of Raman Company on 7th December and electronically transfers the payment on the same date, which is entered in the accounts on the next day, that is 8th of December. What is the time of supply of shoes for the purpose of payment of tax? So this is a case of supply of goods. First we need to see that whether the invoice is issued timely or not. In case of services, we used to check whether it is issued within 30 days from the provision of service or not. In this case, we will check as per section 31. So in this case, due date of issue of invoice was 7th December. The customer collects, but the invoice was issued on 2nd December. So means it is issued timely. So we'll take invoice or payment whichever is earlier. So earlier one is 2nd December. Say the answer. As per notification, a registered person excluding composition supplier has to pay GST on the outward supply of goods at the time of supply as specified in section 12 subsection 2 clause A, that is date of issue of invoice or the last date on which invoice ought to have been issued in terms of section 31. In this case, the invoice is issued before the removal of goods and is thus within the time limit prescribed under section 31 subsection 1. Okay, it is within the time limit. Therefore, the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax is the date of issue of invoice, that is 2nd of December. Now question number 8. Meal coupons are sold to a company on 9th August for being distributed to the employees of the said company. The coupons are valid for 6 months and can be used against purchase of food items. No specific food items they have said, okay. Supply is not identifiable. The employees use them in various stores for purchase of various edible items on different dates throughout the 6 months. So just recall the provision. If the supply is identifiable, then date of issue of voucher, otherwise date of redemption. So in this case, we are supposed to take date of redemption. Now let's see the answer. As the coupons can be used for a variety of food items which are taxed at different rates, the supply cannot be identified at the time of purchase of coupons. Therefore, the time of supply of the coupons is the date of their redemption in terms of section 12 subsection 4. Now question number 9. A firm of lawyers issues invoices for the services to ABC Limited on 17th Feb. The payment is contested by ABC Limited on the ground that on account of negligence of the firm, the company's case was dismissed by the court for non-appearance, which necessitated further appearance for which the firm is billing the company. The dispute drags on and finally payment is made on 3rd of November. Identify the time of supply of the legal services. So obviously this is RCM case. Though they have given the hint, note they have given legal services taxable on RCM. It's not necessary you'll get this note. You'll get this kind of hint in exam also. Okay. Now let's see the answer. So in case of supply of services and RCM, we have to take earlier of date of payment and 61st day from supplier's invoice. See the answer. Time of supply of services that are taxable under reverse charge is the earliest of the following two dates in terms of section 13 subsection 3. Date of payment 3rd November, 61st day from date of issue of invoice, that is 19th April. So earliest one is 19th April. The date of payment comes subsequent to the 61st day from the issue of invoice by the supplier of service. Therefore, the 61st day from the date of supplier's invoice has to be taken as the time of supply. This fixes 19th April as the TOS. Hope it's clear. Now question number 10. Modern security company provides service of testing of electronic devices. In one case, it tested a batch of devices on 4th and 5th September but could not raise invoice till 19th November because of some dispute about the condition of the devices on return. The payment was made in December. What is the method to fix the TOS of service? So this is the case of supply of services. First we need to see whether the invoice is issued timely or not. No, the invoice is not issued timely. So we'll take earliest of date of provision of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Okay. Now let's move on to the answer. The time of supply of services, if the invoice is not issued in time, is the date of payment or the date of provision of service, whichever is earlier. Section 13 subsection 2 clause B. In this case, the service is provided on 5th September. Though it's given in the question 4th and 5th September, so last date was 5th September, so service will take the completion date. Now service was completed 5th September, so in this case service is provided on 5th September but not invoiced within the prescribed time limit. Therefore 5th September, the date of provision of service being earlier than the date of payment. Date of payment was December, so date of provision of service is the earlier one. Therefore the 5th September, the date of provision of service being earlier than the date of payment will be the time of supply. Now question number 11. I buy a set of modular furniture from a retail store. Invoice is issued to me and I make the payment. The furniture is to be delivered to me later in the week when a technician is available to assemble and install it. The next day, the rate of tax applicable to modular furniture is revised upward, and the store sends me a supplementary invoice with the delivery note accompanying the furniture to collect the differential amount of tax. Is this correct on store's part? See the answer. In this case, before the change in rate of tax, two events took place, that is invoice and payment. So obviously old rate is applicable, supplementary invoice is not required. So see the answer. No, the store is not correct in issuing supplementary invoice with revised rate of tax because old rate is applicable. The revised rate of tax is not applicable to the transaction as the issuance of invoice as well as the receipt of payment occurred before the supply. Therefore, in terms of section 14 subsection B clause 2, the time of supply is earlier of the two events, namely issuance of invoice or receipt of payment, both of which are before the change in rate of tax, and thus the old rate of tax remains applicable. Now last question. Question number 12. An online portal, Best Info, raises invoice for database access on 21st February on Roy and Bansal Limited. The payment is made by Roy and Bansal Limited by a demand draft sent on 25th February, which is received and entered in the accounts of Best Info on 20th February. Best Info encashes the demand draft and thereafter gives access to the database to Roy and Bansal Limited from 3rd March. In the meanwhile, the rate of tax is changed from 1st March 2017. What is the TOS of service? of database access by best info. Hope the question is clear. See, date of tax is changed from 1st March 17. So we have to take, we need to see when the two events are taking place. We know all three events: date of payment, date of invoice, and supply of service. So see, 21st Feb is the date of invoice, 25th Feb is the date of payment. Don't you think these two events are taking place before change in rate of tax? So we can say that old rate is applicable and TOS will be invoice or payment, whichever is earlier. See the answer. See, as issuance of invoice and receipt of payment, entry of the payment in best info's account occurred before the change in rate of tax. Receipt of payment we have to see. Means when the payment entry is made in the best info's accounts. See, in this case, see the question once. Payment was made on 25th Feb, but it was entered in the accounts on 20th Feb. So we have to take the earliest. Okay, we have to take not the date of payment, date of receipt of payment. So read the answer again. So I'm reading the answer again, okay? Follow from the beginning. As issuance of invoice and receipt of payment, entry of the payment in best info's account occurred before the change in rate of tax, the time of supply of service by online portal is earlier of the date of issuance of invoice, that is 21st February, or date of receipt of payment, that is 20th February. That is, earlier one is 21st Feb, so that will be the TOS. This would be so even though the service commences after the change in rate of tax. Even the service is commencing after the change in rate of tax, but the TOS will be 21st Feb. See in the question, change in rate of tax, it's given 1st March. From 1st March, tax rate is changing and service was commenced from 3rd March. So even though this is the case, service is provided after change in rate of tax, but 21st Feb, that is earlier of invoice or date of receipt of payment, that will be the TOS. Okay, it is of no relevance. Even though the service is commenced after the change in rate of tax, TOS will remain the same. It will remain as 21st Feb. Okay, service is provided after change in rate of tax, that thing is irrelevant. Hope all questions are clear. So this completes our chapter 6, time of supply, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon for latest updates. Hope you guys are taking utmost care of your immunity and doing exercises regularly, because that is all we can do to protect ourselves from coronavirus, and do continue this even after this pandemic gets over. And don't just pass your entire day in doing like these all stuff like building immunity, doing exercise and chilling throughout the day, but there are great chances you end up wasting your day like this if you don't have a proper study plan yet. Remember, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So study plan is must. If your plan doesn't work, then no issue. Instead of stop making plans, you should make changes in your plan. In such situation, you should change your plan and not your goal. You know what are the two things that are must for successful execution of plan? That is time management and regularity. So you can make daily, weekly or monthly plan as per your own convenience. At the end of the day, before going to bed, you must know the task to be done on the very next day. As a result, at the beginning of the next day, you will not waste your time in planning your schedule for that day. Rather, you will put your plan into action. So keep studying, guys. See you in my next video. Stay healthy, stay happy, be a real human being and spread lots and lots of love, because that's what is missing nowadays. Bye bye, take care.